Backstage.
We're back. Damien Gendron, Backstage Vancouver. We have Jared Shear here with us today. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Good, good, good. Hey, I hear some good things about you. Up and comer. You're a cinematographer in town here, and you would love to tell people your story.
For sure. That's correct.
I would like to know, as I normally do with people, I'm always curious at how you got involved in film in general. What made you? I know you've taken some formal schooling.
Yep.
So, has this always been something of your interest, or did something in particular trigger this, or what made you go and what school did you go to?
I went to the Art Institute of Vancouver, and how I got into film is it was always in the back burner of my mind as a child, but it wasn't immediately at the forefront. So I was just going through school not knowing exactly what I wanted to do, and then one day I just thought I should do film. I've always liked it. I like watching movies. The movies are phenomenal, from the lighting to the cast to the editing, and I just think, wow, I want to be a part of that. That would be great. And YouTube, I found, is also great for newcomers to get themselves out there. I'm like, oh, these people can do it too, and maybe I can too. So I just decided to jump right in and went to the Art Institute of Vancouver.
And what year did you go into that?
I started at 2012.
2012.
And I graduated in December of 2013.
Right. And so you did a little bit of everything there, I would assume, right?
Right.
And you explored the industry. And what did you settle on? What's your preference now?
My main preference would be as a cameraman, anything dealing with the eye of the film, I like to call it, and lighting as well, because you can't have a film without seeing the person, right?
Right.
And that's actually not entirely true as well, because sometimes the darkness can tell a thing of its own. So I just like to experiment and play around with lighting and learn from all sorts of people that come along with it.
Right. It really is a community, isn't it?
Right.
You get on a show, and oftentimes there's lots of people there, willing to give advice and willing to help out when you need a hand.
Yes, of course. Right now I'm just working on this indie feature called Last Night in Suburbia, and everyone is amazing there. They're just helping me out. I make mistakes. They're like, no problem. Just take it one step at a time and go from there, and just get the hang of it as you go forward.
Right. Now that's being shot right now?
Yes, that's being shot right now in Tsawwassen, Ladner, and all sorts of places down out in the boonies.
Right.
I like to call it.
And how many more days do you think there are left?
I estimate about 20.
Right.
We're on day 6 this coming Monday.
Right. So you've had wonderful weather for it.
Yes, it's been awesome actually. There are actually some days in the morning it's just cloudy and we're just thinking it's gonna rain, and for some reason it's just sunny, which I don't mind. But I come double packed with the jacket. I'm like, oh, it's so hot now. I have to unload.
Yeah, it can be. I worked in the film industry off and on for many years and spent a lot of rainy days as an effects guy, in the rain and the snow, and can be very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So you always try and savor this time.
Yep.
Well, that's great. Do you know who's producing it?
Producers would be Sam Vincent, I believe. Andrew, I can't remember his last name, unfortunately.
Is the director? Do you know the director?
The director of this film is Richard Ian Cox.
Right.
I unfortunately don't know too much about his background, except for he's a voice actor.
Right.
And he's been in countless other movies. I've read up on him a bit. Not too specifically, of course, but
yeah.
I'm a big fan of him, actually. But
now,
yeah.
Do they have a website that you know of?
I don't believe they have a website at the moment, but you can definitely find tidbits of them talking about the film on their Facebook pages by the DOP. His name is Adam Myhill.
Right.
And I'm not too sure on where to see most of the details, but if you look around, you can definitely find it.
Right.
On Facebook.
Well, I'll do some digging.
Right.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about some of your favorite moments when you first started to shoot camera. I know you mentioned you got a decent camera. You got a 5D Mark III.
That's right. I have a 5D Mark III, and just shooting nature shots. Those are great. Setting up for when I'm doing short films, just trying to figure out what's the best setting, and then just adjust from there. Just set a stand there and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you run Magic Lantern?
I do. I haven't used it extensively, but I have some knowledge of it, and it's been great so far. It's added a lot of features that you would need other equipment for, so that's very convenient. Like a time lapse, those are great.
Oh yeah, I run it in my T3i, and it's bloody amazing.
It's awesome.
You know what it turns your camera into. Even just the audio features alone.
You can actually adjust it, which you can actually hear it, which is amazing. And shooting in RAW, the images just make it so much more better.
Right, right. I hear that camera also has done away with the what was it, the 12-minute limit on the SD card. Is that your experience?
It depends, because in RAW it's definitely a bit lower because it's processing a lot more data.
Right.
But if you're just shooting regularly in low processor, you can shoot about 29 minutes, which is great for like documentaries or shooting events and all that great jazz.
Yeah, because my T3i craps out at 4 gigs because of the formatting. So unless I throttle down my bit rate, which of course I can do with Magic Lantern. If I don't do that, if I keep it about 30 or 40, then I only get about 12 minutes or so. But luckily Magic Lantern will quickly restart again, but you lose about a second or so.
That's true. And I find if you're doing an event, you probably don't want to lose that second even.
Well, I don't mind losing the second as long as I get to choose when it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so I usually look at the counter and you know, try and find a logical place to stop. You know, even this little camera, this is a Sony Nex 5N. It has that same limitation.
Right.
But the bit rate isn't as high, so I think I can get about 20 minutes or so. If I recall, I've only had it stop once.
Okay.
So you know, that's enough. I mean, most scenes are just a few minutes anyway, so it's not normally a big deal.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk a little bit about where you'd like to be, let's say in a year. If you had your choice, where would you like to be in a year?
If I had my choice, does this include no budgets, or like money's not a concern, or is it? Well,
practical. Be practical.
Okay. In a year, I definitely want to be more out there as a cameraman, eventually being a DOP, and maybe owning a production company, so people would rely on me and various other people that I know, stuff like that.
So you'd like to be doing it full time if you could.
But as you know, I'm young. I don't have too much money, so it's a bit on the harder side to do. But it's definitely doable.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Give me one more project that you've worked on since you got out of college.
Yes, I actually just finished shooting a web series. It was called The Lab. It's nothing too fancy, but it's about graduates just going through school in the science department and how they have to deal with undergrads and their professors and this drama in life in general, stuff like that. And it was shot up at SFU.
And what role did you play?
I was DOP/cameraman.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, hey, that's the direction you're aiming for.
Yeah. So, like, I've mentioned this before. Well, not here, but I like to get as much as I can hands-on. I like to get into action. I like to be the eye of the film. Maybe that's too melodramatic, but that's how I see it.
Right. You like to be an integral part.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you know what? It's been a pleasure to have you.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
And I would really encourage anyone to, have a look at the young people coming up, the massive talent that's coming up, and you're part of that. So thanks again.
No problem. Thank you.